This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Oh, drat. I was driving along minding my own business when that vulgar leech hit my Beamer with his pickup truck. I fear I've fractured my clavicle.
I say, old boy, don't simply put it in the hands of your insurance company to sort it out. Talk with a dedicated row of solicitors at the Advocates Law Firm.
Pipe down, you old sod. The Advocates will see your case through to the bitter end and won't sleep a fortnight until they have victory in their grasp.
Jolly good, old man. Jolly good indeed. You get injured, the Advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
All right, have we made it to drinking time?
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Today we toast an unnamed man from one of my favorite places, just for saying it, Limpopo Province, South Africa. Now, first, I think we can all agree that when it comes to marriage proposals, location, and timing are everything, and obviously a lot of people like to make a big splash and do it in front of friends and family. Well, today's honoree, he falls into that category. In front of his girlfriend's close family and friends, he grabs a microphone, drops to one knee, pulls out a ring, places it on her finger, pops the question. Now, the woman does look genuinely shocked, and we're not sure if she even accepted his proposal, but we do know that instead of cheering or applauding, her family gasped. So the question is why? Well, the dude, this was his girlfriend, they've been together for a while, he popped the question during a funeral for her father, who was not buried yet. In fact, in the video, the casket of the dude that she's mourning, that she's sitting in the front row of, is maybe 6 feet behind him. But he grabs the mic, drops down, and proposes.
Wow.
Do not know if she said yes or no, just saying you might want to pick a better time. But it's a fantastic video if you get the chance to watch it. Limpopo Province marriage proposal. There you go. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola, bichola.
You got the profile that's been in there, Castle?
Yeah.
Let's hit that thing.
The men's room presents Profile This.
Stephen Throwhill, could you please, everyone, how Profile This is played?
Oh, I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story.
Oh, we lost our caller.
Yes, we did.
All right.
Caller. We just need a one. Now they drop.
Okay. 206-421-ROCK if you'd like to play Profile This.
You sure you don't want to play?
I'll play.
You play?
I'll play. Castle, game on?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Where do you guys want to go? Do you want the wonderful world of drugs? Bite me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? Or, of course, interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone.
What do you think?
Am I going to pick?
Yeah, you pick, man.
I knew it. Well, in this case, not to disappoint, it's not the butt, it's the vagina. And it involves a woman that she was fined after police officers found a bag of drugs hidden inside her vagina, which she claimed was a tampon. 39-year-old Cora Freely. She was being strip searched by officers after she was arrested following a street brawl. Now, the court heard that she was caught when an officer spotted the black bag protruding from the defendant's vagina. Upon further examination, it was revealed that the bag contained drugs. Well, the woman, Freely, she was caught with the drugs after being arrested again on suspicion of assault last month. Now, no charges were brought against her for the assault as police discovered she was the victim of the assault. So the prosecutor says, quote, while searching the defendant's bottom half, it can be seen that something similar to a black bag was protruding from the defendant's vagina. She initially lied to officers, claiming it was a tampon. Well, the defense attorney Paul Stanley. Yes.
No way.
Paul Stanley.
What is up in your vagina?
Say, quote.
I didn't know it was going to be this kind of party tonight.
She been arrested on suspicion of assault.
Okay.
That's why she found herself at a police station. The allegation went nowhere. She was quite quickly deemed to be the victim in that case. That's why she was subsequently released without charge.
She was fined £50 in order to pay another £50 in court costs, plus a 34-pound victim surcharge. What the hell is going on in England?
Oh, this is in
where you're the victim of a crime and you have to pay a surcharge for someone beating your ass. Anyway, what drug did she have in the hoo-ha? Was it cocaine, meth, weed, or oxys?
She was in a fight.
She was in a street fight, but she was a victim. Although that said, that typically in a street brawl, you had a little something to do with that going.
That speaks volumes to what kind of drugs we're dealing with.
It screams class.
Yes.
All right. Castle, I'm going to go weed based on the fact that she was fined. I think anything else she could have been landed in jail based on the drugs.
What were the options again?
Coke, meth, weed, or oxys.
Yeah, see, you're not fighting over weed. And I don't think you're hiding weed in your business.
Right.
I'm going to go with oxys. Plus, I don't know anybody who puts weed in a black bag.
All right.
I don't know anyone who puts weed in their vagina.
We're going to find out what she
Not
had.
yet.
We're going to find out what she had in the Bat Cave. Was it Coke, meth, weed, or oxys next?
That was a tease.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Categories: interior decorating on profile. This woman was fined after police found a bag of drugs in her back cave. She was arrested, but I guess the victim of an assault.
She was the victim of an assault, but when they got there was just a melee. They realized she's the victim, so her defense, that would be Paul Stanley, was explaining, look, the only reason you found this is because she was arrested, but she was wrongfully arrested. So that's been the contention in the case.
So she claimed it was a tampon. Either way, was it Coke, meth, weed, or oxys?
That's the very question I posed to you two ugly sons of bitches. And let's see, Castillo. I told my wife I would call you Castillo after going to Mexico. I did not realize that Castillo simply means castle.
So me and Vicky, yeah.
Castillo. There you go, man. Basically the same last name, right?
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, you went oxys.
Oh.
No, I'm afraid, as classy as she is, it was not oxys. Miles, you went weed, saying, look, man, she was just given a fine, right?
I think anything else. Unless, you can't have a prescription for.
Oh, there you go.
No, you're right.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I can't believe that you're stashing weed there.
I mean, you need to let it dry out. But anyway.
Well, they said she probably panicked when the cops showed up.
Weed?
Yeah. This is so damp. Now for all TV news all the time. Time for TV time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
I would also say, just remember, in England, the drug rules are different. So that makes sense that she was hiding it there.
Right. I did not want to point that out as we're going through the story, but you were 100% correct on that. She'd have been better if she had cocaine hanging out. They'd been like, yeah, all right.
Yeah. Also a good time to remind people, since we're talking TV, if you enjoy some drug dealing stuff and an English accent, Top Boy on Netflix is a phenomenal TV show. I think I've watched that series twice now. It's awesome.
Ted, I took your advice and found myself getting sucked into the cinematic programming of Something Bit Me. No, not American whatever it's called. Sorry. He had his hands up. No, it was Something Bit Me, right? So in this case, the first one to tune in, this guy had to fight off a crocodile. It was a 45-minute battle that he had with the crocodile, all right? Obviously, he survived. He's telling a story. But they do 2 stories per episode. The other one was a woman who was attacked by killer bees, all right? And I'm like, okay, well, the next thing on the whatever channel it's on was another episode. And I'm like, God damn it. I'm going to end up watching this. And this one, just to give you an idea, they're explaining in this week's episode, we talked to a guide like in the African safari, right? And he's talking about all the different beauties in Zimbabwe, blah, blah, blah. When they introduce him, He's missing an arm. So I'm like, oh, God. Dude was in a hippo's mouth. Just to explain, he's on a river and you're right, Ted, it is a fascinating show, and
it's unreal.
He's doing the guide thing, but he wasn't even taking tourists out. It was he and a couple other fellow guides just getting their enjoyment of nature. But this hippo, they see the hippos. He said we steered clear, which he did, and then they see a giant wave, and as he explains it, the hippo hits the canoe behind him first, launches his buddy in the water. So he starts backpedaling to get his buddy, because he goes, hippos typically, they don't really want to interact with you. They're just being territorial and sending you a message. So he goes, I go back to get my buddy. My buddy's in the water, and just as our fingers are about to meet for me to pull him in the canoe, my canoe gets hit. He goes, then it's dark, and I realize, just to give you an idea of where the show goes, it's like I'm conscious, but it's completely dark around me, and I can't get my wits about me. And he realized he was head first in the hippo's mouth, and only his waist and legs were hanging out.
Oh, so he's way deep down in there.
So I was missing an arm, Miles.
Yeah.
It's a great show.
The only thing we know is hungry hippos.
Yes.
Here on the north.
So you're telling me I need to give this show another shot?
Yes. Yes, dude.
I literally started the first episode when I was here sick at home, and I was like, nah, it's not going anywhere, because the guy got bit in like the heel by a snake or something like that.
Yeah, it's candy ass. It gets worse. It gets much worse.
Cool.
It does. I want to say it's National Geographic. That's what I watch.
I think you're right.
Yeah, trust me, I saw that episode yesterday. The other crazy thing is like, with the killer bees.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of animal attacks. Like I told you, the one guy was in Michigan, and a rabid wolf attacked him.
Jesus!
But like grabbed him by the head and drags him from the campsite, and everybody's like, "Oh, no chance, man. We haven't had a wolf attack in Michigan in decades, like almost 100 years. That can't be right." And they're like, "Oh, it turns out that wolf is rabid. Yeah, you're in trouble.
You're in Michigan."
That was the other story. Along with Hippo Guy, there's a dude who was attacked by a black bear here in Washington State, and it's the former mayor of Bellevue. He's like, I was the mayor of Bellevue.
I remember that story.
I vaguely remembered as
he was up at his vacation
cabin
spot on Snoqualmie Pass.
When he explains it, man, it's he went out to walk his two dogs. He's up there with his family. The sun had set. He said you heard the brush snap. He's like, but you can't see anything. Then you hear the telltale growl. And he's like, it's bad news. Then he explained the footfalls of whatever the animal is and how fast it was. Last second, you realized it's a black bear. And then the thing's on top of you. He had to fight it 2 or 3 times. One time it swiped and ripped his eye out of his head.
You got to remember, too, remember the service, military up in Anchorage.
Yeah, the guy was attacked by a bear.
He passed away. But his friends were there. Mm-hmm. He wasn't just out there by himself. He was one of like 4 or 5 people who were there, and the other people kind of watched this go down.
You know, it's hard to say what you would do in that situation, but I think
Ron, hope myself.
Where this guy went wrong, the former mayor of Bellevue, was he fought the bear. Like, aren't you supposed to play dead and then they'll leave you alone?
It depends on the bear.
Right.
So different bears, there's different techniques. I want to say with black bears, you're supposed to be bigger.
Be bigger,
scare them off.
And they said, so they get experts on these specific animals. So not a bear expert, but a black bear expert. And she would chime in and she said, look, he did the right thing because black bears, she explained one thing about them. All they know, and I don't know much about people, is any animal that they fight with, when you attack their head, it tends to end a lot quicker. So they're going to attack, they're not going for your body, they're just going for your head. Try to protect that. But start throwing punches back because they're not trying to get in a fight either. And keep in mind, they don't want to eat you. That's not their goal. So if you're going to fight back, and obviously this is easier to explain than it is to experience, but she said, look, they don't really want any part of you, but something about it felt threatened or whatever the case was. So this guy, he said, look, I don't know what the advice is. He goes, but instinctively, you fight back because I don't want to die. So he started punching. But when he got away from it the first time, he did get up to try to limp back to the house. And the goddamn thing came back.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's the other weird thing, too. From watching that show, I've learned, not that I could do it, but like one guy got attacked in a canal by an alligator in Florida, and he like stared it down, and they're like, that's what you're supposed to do. Don't run away. Gets it more excited. And I want to say the same thing with the wolf. Like you're supposed I don't.
You're not supposed to, certain animals you make eye contact with, others you don't.
Yeah, like
is what
primates and then do not make eye contact. Sure.
And there's a lot of animals where if you run, they're like, oh, game on.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
This is fun.
Like bears.
If you
cats.
If you act like prey, you're probably prey.
Yeah. Fight.
Right, which I feel like we've known this about sharks, right? We're always like, oh, mistook the human for a seal. Mm-hmm. But when you watch this show, as Thrill will say now, like, you're like, oh man, I got to keep all this knowledge. You realize that there's no safe place to go hiking.
No. That's what I learned. I'm glad I live in the city.
There's no safe place in the animal kingdom. I saw 2 eagles get attacked by crows this weekend. I'm like, these guys have some bees on them. They're just dive bombing them, and you hear the eagle like try to shriek them off, and he's like pecking at them, and they give 0 Fs. They just keep dive bombing this guy, and I'm like, that thing can rip your head off, dude. Like, you don't want to mess with this guy, and they just don't care.
Somebody gave us some advice for dealing with bears. It says, rule of sound, let's see. Black bear, fight back. Brown bear, lie down. Kodiak or polar bear, kiss your ass goodbye.
Yeah, that's a wrap with polar bears. Sure. All right, Thrill, so you were watching one of those other shows. Have you guys started watching The Food That Built America yet on Sunday nights?
Not consistently.
Is that Sunday night?
Yeah, it's Sunday night on History. I might have been excited enough yesterday that I texted Mike. I was like, hey, dude, they're running a marathon. It's all the best episodes.
Nice. What have you learned?
Miles, I'll tell you what, Miles, I think you'll appreciate this one. Do you know who Kraft Cheese' biggest competitor was in the 1920s?
Bob Kraft.
Kraft Cheese, 1920s, as far as another cheese company.
Correct.
Tell me it's Velveeta.
It's not. And it's not a company you'd expect from cheese. I've brought him up before. Oh, Captain Pabst. His sons, when they took over the brewery, one son
no kidding.
Yeah, he didn't want anything to do with the brewery. So him and the other brother, Gustav, have a fight. He goes out to the country, starts raising cattle and this and that. And then during, right before Prohibition hits, Gustav, the son that took it over, is like, I got to get out of the game. And he's like, okay. And he's like, we'll start serving this cheese.
I want to raise cattle and make some cheese.
Right. So like the cheese is like in a can. It can stay on the shelf and everything. And then Mr. Kraft, who had originated this kind of American cheese, he sued him because you can make the same product. You only have to change one ingredient. But they use the same process.
Yes.
So
Robert Kraft, subsequently, he distributes that cheese in massage parlors in Florida, from what I understand now.
Right. Well, it's crazy because Kraft, the guy that started Kraft, I'm sure I know it's related to Robert Kraft. To his credit, he sues him. It goes on for 8 months, which you can imagine in the 20s, a court case for 8 months.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right.
That's
so
crazy.
then, but he goes, listen, I'm not going to shut down the Pabst cheese because you don't have much else going on. You just got to pay us. Well, I was going to say the VIG, but you got to pay us to use the same technology. So then, yeah, it was the second best selling American cheese. And then once Prohibition
But did it get a blue medal? Or blue ribbon? A blue ribbon, whatever it was.
Right. And remember, I brought this up before, but Pabst only put that on there because you got a blue ribbon when you deal with livestock. So he thought it looked cool.
Yeah.
Guinness won that year, but to their credit, they were technically the highest ranking America brewery. So that's why they say,
cool.
Yeah, like we were America's #1 brewery.
They're still around.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Shout out to Captain Pabst. All right. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about some cancellations in the TV world. First of all, this one kind of hurts me, and maybe I'm to blame as I didn't watch it enough, but NBC canceled Kenan, which was Kenan Thompson's show.
I never saw it.
No, I didn't either.
Really? Was I the only one that saw an episode?
Yep.
An episode.
Yeah, I'm not helping.
Yeah,
Don Johnson was on there. It was great. That's why I watched one episode.
That'll get him going. Somebody from the 80s that no one remembers.
It was just kind of funny as Don Johnson played like like Kenan's wife has passed away and Don Johnson's the dad of that wife. And like whenever Kenan's going through issues, Don Johnson's like, just do what adults do. Drink in the dark by yourself and hide the feelings. Let's see. Magnum P.I. That got canceled, which is weird because that was actually a pretty highly rated show.
Was it?
They were getting 7.5 million viewers weekly.
Yeah, I would think that would keep your ass on the air, man. For a network TV show, that's the perfect area, right?
It is. But what happened with Magnum P.I., I think, is just an indictment on males. Like, what that show didn't have was somebody properly hairy and wearing booty shorts as a man.
Properly? Are you advertising your abilities there? You need a hairy dude. I'm the guy.
Right? Do you need a short pair of jorts? Call Ted Smith. Let's see. Batwoman got canceled by the CW. Good news is, though, All-American's returning. The Flash is returning. All-American Homecoming. Thrill. This show's done so well. They have spinoffs that are getting real.
What network is that on, Ted?
All-American's on the CW, but if you don't catch them live there in your DVR, you can they show up on Netflix too. Right. So as much as I give Thrill a hard time about that show was one of those things that was scheduled to be canceled. Then it showed up on Netflix, and a bunch of middle-aged dudes like me and Marshawn started watching it, and they're like, oh, people love high school football dramas.
They should have learned that from what? Friday Night Lights? Wasn't that the big, huge one back in the day?
Yeah, Friday Night Lights. Or,
there was another one, wasn't there? Or am I just thinking all the movies?
All the right moves.
Those are the movies, but Friday Night Lights also turned into a TV series as well that ran for a bunch of years.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about sports from the weekend. First of all, nice win for the Sounders. Yeah. Generally, I don't like missing a match, but it was pouring rain. I wasn't too upset that I missed it.
Can't really leave the house, can you?
I stood out there in the rain for you, brother.
Oh, Castle, I respect that. I also like that it got sunny in the not the fourth quarter, like the second half of the second half. Like, oh, now it's going to stop raining.
Yeah. Did you feel better about being at home watching it on TV?
No, I feel like a lazy
because you can't really see the rain. When it's televised, it's hard to see.
It's never right.
Dude, that first half, it was pouring.
Yeah,
I will say this. It was raining so hard. Like, I was just standing outside a couple times like, damn, it's really raining.
Why are you going? Because that's why you're standing outside.
I will also say this. Like, I was pretty pumped heading into the weekend. You have a bunch of Game 7s. NBA and NHL. NHL, credit to hockey. Those Game 7s were unreal.
They were great.
We had 2 overtime Game 7s. I was watching playoff hockey till 10 o'clock.
Did you see Calgary?
Now, I did. Yeah, that was the last one I was watching.
I'm like, I'll just watch it because it's Game 7. Why not? And I realized I don't have a horse in the race, and I'm losing my mind watching this stuff.
My sister has Penn's season tickets, so she was crying.
Yeah, that was, so I watched, obviously I'm a Kraken fan now, but I grew up a Capitals fan. I watched them lose their Game 7 Friday night, and then some of the joy over the weekend was watching the Rangers knock out the Penguins. You got to take small victories where you can get them. Sure. But seriously, playoff hockey, everybody talks about it. It's a different level. The NBA had it set up perfect yesterday. I don't know what happened. You had 2 Game 7s, and they were both just blowouts. Nothing good going on there. Let's see. You don't have much sports on for you tonight. You got some Mariners stuff, but I brought it up earlier. Thrill, help me out here. There's a brand new episode tonight on the CW of...
CW. Oh, it's in the... hold on. Wait.
First team.
Well, we are.
Like second team.
American. Like first... All-American.
All-American.
All right. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Louisiana authorities are looking for 3 inmates who escaped again with the help of a security guard. Meanwhile, a New Jersey police chief is found passed out, sans pants, holding on to something hard. New York City says it's excited to get back to threesomes and sex parties this summer. If you call the cops to report the truck you stole was stolen, you can't be any dumber. And a Florida man plays a full round of golf on I-75. It is time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cop.
All right, our top story. We go to Ohio, where a man called to report that his truck had been stolen. He told officers that he already knew who made off with his truck, his passenger that had stolen it while he was at a local gas station. They were able to catch up with the truck and arrest the driver, but also learned a little more information about the truck, mainly that it had already been reported stolen about 5 days earlier. That's when they went back to the original caller and arrested him as well for theft.
This is what makes me angry. It's like, I know people commit crime. And that's why you have police. locks on your doors, ring cameras, lawyers, jails, court. Right? The whole cottage industry based on this. But it's when you're stupid that I get pissed. Look, you stole the truck, congratulations. And then someone stole it from you, and you called the cops to tell them. You do know they're going to piece this together, right?
Yeah, I don't know where the logic is there.
Like you got away with stealing a truck. Good for you. And then the only reason they found out is because you told the cops that someone stole the truck you stole.
Once again, we give the golden advice here on the Men's Room. We do not recommend anybody choose a life of crime. However, if you're going to do it right,
do it well, man. Have some respect for the human race.
Don't be stupid.
If you got away with it, keep it that way.
To Florida, where a pair making a vlog about Southern life caught something interesting. I feel like it's Miles out on a freeway here.
Could be.
While driving down the interstate, the dash cam from the YouTubers caught a man standing on the side of the freeway working on his golf game. He was out in a grassy area beside the highway taking some practice shots on a handful of balls that he had brought out there with him.
Is it illegal? Well, I mean, he wasn't aiming them at the cars. I would get that. We go like, all right, this guy's hitting golf balls at the car. But like when we were growing up, right? If you didn't have a basketball, but you wanted to play basketball, maybe you used a soccer ball, and if you didn't have a net and went through a milk crate, this tree is first base. Like, you ghettoize any sport you want to play if you want to play. I guess my man was like, look, there's a lot of grass. It's well maintained.
You got to get practice in.
This what I'm thank you, Ted.
Practice makes perfect. But apparently he was also carrying a bag and walking and like taking a shot.
And
maybe he just hit a drive way off.
Well, and Teddy, he was right on the side of the interstate. So I get nervous when you hit there's a couple courses down in Palm Springs where literally there's a road right beside your fairway. And that's not good for me. And there's a house and they have a sign that says golfers are responsible for property damage. That is not good for me. He's just playing golf on the side of a highway, hitting them straight without hitting any cars.
And there's no holes there. That's the ones like, what are you aiming at? Because there's no. I know
maybe a pothole.
Yeah, maybe.
To be fair, I think I'm going to call this legal just because I grew up on Enumclaw Golf Course, and there's a hole out there that is literally right next to the Highway 410, and errant ball goes right out onto the highway.
To be fair,
to be fair,
I'm sure you've done that.
Way, I have. I felt really bad about it, but I don't think anybody was coming.
You just hope you don't hear anything. You're like, oh no. Oh,
the squealing of tires.
Right.
Run! Grab the cart!
No, you don't even hear the tires, man. It's just a straight smash. They don't see the ball coming.
But it is funny because, like, Little League, like, baseball fields are always right next to cars. It's just kind of part of living there.
That's a good point. Just don't park your car over the left field fence. That seems to be the danger zone. That and behind home plate.
The first thing that you hear after the crash of the windshield is run!
That is a weird thing about softball, baseball, Little League. You got to know where to park your car, parents.
You learn.
You really do.
So that's about soccer. It didn't break any wind. It might hit your car, but it's not doing any real damage.
Foul balls go everywhere.
By the way, Mike, someone here, they said the logic of stealing a truck and then calling the cops after someone has stolen their truck, they say, Mike, the logic they have is methamphetamine.
Oh, fair enough.
That explains so much when you simplify.
The same logic that started the theft in the first place.
Right.
New York City is about to be party central for people tired of being cooped up. Local bars and venues in the area have seen an uptick in the amount of parties that are being booked, and some interviews with the partygoers is a little revealing on their intentions. Citing the last 2 years being cooped up and sheltered, they're ready to get out and throw caution to the wind, saying that they're looking for sexual experimentation as well as a lot of group sex.
Looking to get laid.
But how does that work, man? Yeah. We've all been cooped up around the world, right? And it's not like, hey, business is back open, have a three-way. Like, it doesn't just happen that way. Or maybe it does in New York City.
But I think that a lot of people you know what, I'm used to going out to the bar and finding somebody to bring home. It's been too long. At this point now, I just want to get with as many people as I can.
I'm bringing two of you home.
You're going to make up for lost time.
Okay.
There you go. Bingo. You got it. A police chief in New Jersey is in some trouble after a bad night. This is great. Officers found him in the middle of the night after he had crashed his truck, attempted to flee on foot, tossed his keys, pulled down his pants, and passed out behind his truck on the ground.
That is a good look.
Officers roused him from his late night nap and took him in. He's facing charges and is currently on leave.
Did you hear his quotes? Yeah. They were like, man, are you okay? He said, is there a problem? They said, you're laying next to your truck. outside, and then the cop said, "Are you diabetic?" Trying to give him an out. You know,
Sure.
He said no, and one of the cops responds, "That is the wrong answer."
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they did as much as they could to get him out of it, and he just,
Well done,
get up,
Chief.
dude. Get up, dude.
And that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Men's Room Happy Hour is up next exclusively on the Odyssey app. More Men's Room. We'll see you there.
Yes, indeed, it's all true, but in the meantime, we're hell. We be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please, do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.